The WWE landscape has been shaken to its very core, and nothing will ever be the same again. In a moment that fans will be talking about for years to come, Roman Reigns, the self-proclaimed tribal chief and the central figure of WWE dominance for nearly a decade, made his thunderous and shocking return at Night of Champions, and he didn't come back empty-handed. He returned with a new purpose, a darker vision, and an even more dangerous version of the bloodline, led now by the imposing force of Hikuleo, a 6 feet 8 inches Samoan juggernaut who immediately proved why he was handpicked to stand beside Roman in this next, more brutal chapter of domination. For weeks, the WWE Universe has watched the bloodline unravel. Tensions, betrayals, and shifting alliances have left the once unbreakable faction in ruins. After Jacob Fatu's stunning betrayal of Solo Sikoa at Money in the Bank, which directly led to Jey Uso losing his title and Seth Rollins capturing the coveted Money in the Bank briefcase, many believed the Bloodline's days were numbered. The tribal empire seemed to be crumbling. But if there's one thing Roman Reigns has always done better than anyone else, it's rewriting the rules on his terms. And on this night, under the blinding lights of Night of Champions, Reigns didn't just return. He resurrected the bloodline in the most destructive way imaginable. As the crowd roared in anticipation of Seth Rollins' MITB cash-in, believing they were moments away from witnessing another career-defining moment for the visionary, the lights dimmed. The music shifted. And then, chaos was unleashed. The unmistakable presence of Hikuleo hit the arena like a tidal wave. Emerging from the shadows, he charged toward the ring, tearing through security guards with ease, each one tossed aside like a toy. The audience barely had time to react when, moments later, Roman Reigns' music hit. The crowd erupted, torn between awe, fear, and confusion. It was the return of the tribal chief, not as a broken king, but as a warlord reborn. Rollins never stood a chance. With eyes locked on his prey, Hikuleo wasted no time. He charged toward Seth and delivered a devastating power slam into the barricade, shaking the entire ringside area. The audience was stunned. Roman Reigns followed, calm and commanding, like a general inspecting a battlefield already won. He picked up the Money in the Bank briefcase with cold precision, stared at it briefly, then slammed it onto the steel steps with a thunderous crash. The message wasn't just clear, it was absolute. No one, and he meant no one, takes what belongs to the bloodline. Especially not Seth Rollins. Especially not under Roman Reigns' watch. The atmosphere was electric and tense. Backstage, cameras caught Paul Heyman, once the mastermind behind Roman's original reign, screaming into his phone in a full panic. The man who had orchestrated countless victories was now powerless to stop what was happening. His current alliances crumbled before his eyes. And the chaos raised even more questions. Where was Solo Sikoa? The man once considered Roman's right-hand weapon and future successor was nowhere to be found. His absence at this critical moment was not just strange, it was suspicious. Could Solo have been pushed out of Roman's inner circle permanently? Jey Uso, once the emotional core of the bloodline, watched from the entrance ramp. His expression told the story, torn between loyalty and betrayal, between history and the unknown. Cameras caught him staring intently at the destruction in the ring, clearly shaken. Would he return to stand by Roman's side in this new era, or has the tribal chief lost another brother forever? The seeds of drama and unpredictability have been planted. And what about Jacob Fatu, the man whose actions helped unravel everything? With Roman now back in control and accompanied by a fierce new enforcer, Fatu's place in this evolving narrative remains uncertain. Will he attempt to align with Reigns? Or has he already marked himself for punishment by the tribal chief's new regime? The introduction of Hikuleo into the bloodline may be the most terrifying development yet. A silent, hulking enforcer with raw power and clear loyalty to Reigns, he represents a shift in the faction's strategy. Roman doesn't just want loyalty now, he wants destruction, intimidation, and control. He wants to end all threats before they even begin. And Hikuleo is the embodiment of that vision. Roman Reigns didn't need to throw a punch. He let his presence and his enforcer speak for him. And with that briefcase destroyed and Rollins laid out, the bloodline is no longer just a family. It's an unstoppable machine rebuilt for war. This is Roman's empire, reforged in fire and vengeance. The message was delivered to the entire WWE roster, loud and clear. The king has returned. The throne is not vacant, and his reign is far from over. In fact, it's about to enter its most violent chapter yet. With Roman Reigns back in power, with Hikuleo standing like a titan at his side, and with enemies on all sides, the WWE is about to become a battlefield like never before. So now the questions remain. Will Seth Rollins recover and retaliate, or has the visionary been permanently broken? Is Jey Uso still torn, or ready to once again acknowledge the tribal chief? Has Solo Sikoa been exiled, or is something bigger coming? And what of Jacob Fatu, friend, foe, or future victim? The bloodline has not fallen. It has risen again. Stronger, meaner, smarter, and more ruthless than ever. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications because the next chapter of Roman Reigns' legacy is unfolding before our eyes, and it's going to be soaked in chaos, vengeance, and undisputed power. The bloodline's revenge isn't just beginning. It's here and no one is safe. WWE fans, everything has changed, and the storm is only beginning. Roman Reigns, the undisputed tribal chief, just resurrected the bloodline in a shocking and ruthless way that nobody saw coming. At Night of Champions, Reigns made a seismic return, not alone, but with a towering and fearsome ally at his side, the 6'8" Samoan powerhouse, Hikuleo. This was not just a comeback. It was an ambush, a carefully calculated strike against Seth Rollins at the most pivotal moment. As Rollins attempted to cash in his money in the bank contract, the arena was rocked by a violent interruption that left the WWE Universe speechless. Reigns' new bloodline didn't just walk down the ramp, they stormed it like a Samoan hurricane. Hikuleo emerged first, tossing security personnel like they were paper dolls, clearing the path for the return of Roman Reigns himself. The crowd erupted in shock and awe as the tribal chief appeared, his eyes locked with deadly intent on Seth Rollins. Before Rollins could even process what was happening, Hikuleo slammed him into the barricade with vicious force. Roman Reigns picked up the briefcase, glared at it with disdain, and without a word, smashed it onto the steel steps. The message was crystal clear. Nothing gets taken from the bloodline, especially not on Roman's watch. This was more than just a brutal beatdown. It was a declaration. The bloodline hasn't fallen. It has evolved. And Roman Reigns, with Hikuleo as his new enforcer, has reshaped the very foundation of WWE power. This wasn't just a personal attack on Seth Rollins. It was a message to Paul Heyman's splintered camp and anyone else who thought the tribal chief was finished. The impact of this moment sent shockwaves backstage. Paul Heyman, the so-called wise man, was to the only